वेलकम टू सोशियो क्लासेस। इस वीडियो में हम इंग्लिश सब्जेक्ट सेमेस्टर 1 बीए के का सिलेबस एंड मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चंस डिस्कस करेंगे। इस चैनल पर आपको हर सब्जेक्ट के मोस्ट इम्पॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चंस एंड सिलेबस हर क्लास के लिए मिल जाएंगे। सो इंग्लिश इंट्रोडक्शन टू इंग्लिश लिटरेचर 1, कोर्स कोड ENGDSC2 मेजर, level 100, course duration 75 hours in one semester, credits 4, maximum marks are 100, 90 theory and 10 internal assessment. Course content: prescribed text, English at work, selection from poetry and prose, Macmillan India Limited. Unit 1 Poetry, Song 36 from Gitanjali Rabindranath Tagore, From Homecoming R. Parthasarathi, Myriad Winged Bird, Aduri Satyavati Devi, I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings, Maya Angelou, Telephone Conversation, Volswenka, Dover Beach, Matthew Arnold, Anthem for Doomed Youth, Wilfred Owen, The Unknown Citizen, W.H. Auden. Unit 2 Prose, Spoken English and Broken English by Bernard Shaw, Principles of Good Writing, L.A. Hill, The Conjurer's Revenge, Stephen Leacock, I Have a Dream, Martin Luther King Jr., Letter to a Teacher, The School of Barbiana, The Best Investment I Ever Made, A.J. Cronin, Taking the Law into Their Hands, J.B. D'Souza, The Elixir of Life, C.V. Raman. These are some suggested reading text. The testing scheme we'll discuss in the most important questions. So the testing scheme is maximum marks are 100, theory is of 90 marks, internal assessment is of 10 marks, time is of 3 hours. Section A, reference to the context from poetry, 1 out of 2 passages to be attempted for 10 marks. Question number 2, short questions from poetry, 3 out of 5 to be attempted, 15 marks. Question number 3, essay type question from poetry, 2 out of 3 to be attempted, 20 marks. Section B, question number 4, reference to the context from prose, 1 out of 2 passages to be attempted, 10 marks. Question number 5, short questions from prose, 3 out of 5 to be attempted for 15 marks. Question number 6, essay type question from prose, 2 out of 3 to be attempted, 20 marks. Note, attempt all questions, attempt all parts of a question together at one place. Now we have the most important questions. Section A, Poetry. Word is a throat box, a music treasure, on my gentle loving palm, as I float towards distant melodies of new horizons. I fear I have bungled again. That last refinement of speech terrifies me. The balloon of poetry has grown red in the face with repeated blowing. When I join nightingale clubs, smelling poetry, and enter the pages of human history from the fret of life, word cleanses me like a waterfall. In a magnetic field of moonlight, give me the strength to raise my mind high above daily trifles, and give me the strength to surrender my strength to thy will with love. Give me the strength to make my love fruitful in peace, in service. Give me the strength never to disown the poor or bend my knees before insolent might. When I bid farewell to dreams in songs, subsuming myself in lonely journeys and relentless fires, word reassures me, offering me mother's breast milk. The caged bird sings with fearful trill of the things unknown but longed for still, and his tune is heard on the distant hill, for the caged bird sings of freedom. This is my prayer to thee, my Lord. Strike, strike at the root of penury in my heart. Give me the strength lightly to bear my joys and sorrows. When I consume time timidly, circling round like a spider, and facing humiliations like caterpillar, that has lost its way. Word becomes a school in itself. Sophocles long ago heard it on the Aegean, and it brought dash of human misery. No mockeries now for them, no prayers, no bells, dash, and bangles calling for them from sad shies. Add our social psychology workers blank, advertisements were normal in every way. Was he free? Was he happy? The question is absurd. Dash, we should certainly have heard. What candles may be held to speed them all, not in the hands of boys, but in their eyes, shall shine the holy glimmers of goodbye. The sea is calm tonight, the tide is full, the moon lies fair upon the straits on the French coast, the light gleams and is gone. He was married and added 5 children to the population. Dash, had anything been wrong, we should have certainly heard. The price seemed reasonable for the location. Dash, but self-confession. Madam, I want blank, pressurized good breeding. The sea of faith was once blank and naked shingles of the world. You won't remember me or my name. You have failed so many of us. Dash, you fail us right out in the fields and factories, and then you forget us. Man has through the ages sought in vain for a dash, for it is the commonest of all liquids, plain water. Try registering an offence with the police and you will discover dash the investigation and charge the offenders. While giving a test, you used to walk up, dash, no books, no telephone. Even if we have been choosing rulers who have brought dash, and then who will judge their decisions? As she hoped with the real feeling, I got a dash back in the world, trained into a useful craft. But I can read the sounds of my valley for my around, dash, and their relatives and personal ties. Predictably, Indian politicians are jittery over a new judicial thrust. Dash. Civic officials seldom care to respond. These tanks play a vital role in South Indian agriculture. In Mysore, for example, much of the rice is grown under them. Some of these tanks surprisingly large, and it is a beautiful sight to see the sun rise or set over one. Try registering an offence with the police and you will discover how much a mere duty officer at the police station can do to reduce justice to an illusion. The CBI buried many cases for years despite its obligation under the law to complete the investigation and charge the offenders. Answer the following questions. Describe how the poet wishes to use his strength for self-improvement and the improvement of others. Song 36 from Gitanjali. What kind of poverty does the poet refer to? Describe the speaker's experience of homecoming. What is the symbolic significance of the sun, sky, winds, and the hills? I know why the caged bird sings. Compare the state of the caged bird to women, Dalits, and other oppressed people in India. What does the speaker come to accept at the end of the poem from Homecoming? Why does the speaker recommended newspapers from Homecoming? Why does the poet compare word to a dove? What idea do you get of the African American people in America? What is the symbolic significance of the sun, sky, winds, and the hills? What does the caged bird sing about? Why does the poetess compare word to a dove? What happens to the speaker at the doorstep? What kind of strength do you think the poet is praying for? Discuss central idea of poem. I know why a caged bird sings. What kind of poverty is referred to in the poem? What are the 2 things that the poet wants to avoid? Why does the poet recommend newspapers? What is the setting of the poem, city, town, or village? What metaphors does the poet use for childhood? What does the free bird like to claim? What does the caged bird sing about? Explain how love could become fruitful in service. What are the only two things that the poet does not want to do? What has happened to poetry and why? Why does the poet compare word to dove? Two words come easily to the poet. Quote the lines that give you the answer. Explain the term bars of rage. Why does an encaged bird wish to sing? What time of the day does the poet describe in the poem From Homecoming? What, according to the poet, has happened to poetry? When does the word become a lullaby in My Right-Winged Bird? Who does the free bird refer to in I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings? What does the caged bird in the poem sing about? Who dies castle in the poem Anthem for Doomed Youth? What is the poem Telephone Conversation about? Why does the speaker in that poem ask the lady to see his palm and soul? What does the scene at Dover Beach look like? Who is an unknown citizen of poem's title? Discuss central idea of Wilfred Owen's poem Anthem for Doomed Youth. Why does the poet refer to Sophocles and the agent C? Comment on Soyenka's use of satire in the poem Telephone Conversation. Explain why the unknown citizen remains unnamed in the poem. What is the poet's main concern in the poem Dover Beach? What, according to the poem Dover Beach, what is the state of faith at one time? What does the scene at Dover Beach look like? How does the speaker express his resentment at landlady's questions in Telephone Conversation? What is an anthem? Is the word suitable for the poem Anthem for Doomed Youth? Who is the unknown citizen of the poem's title? What do expressions such as lipstick coated, long gold, rolled cigarette, holder piped tell us about the social status of this landlady? What does the poet hear in the grating roar of pebbles? What thought does it bring to his mind? What, according to the poem, was the state of faith at one time? What elements comprise a homage to the dead soldiers? What is poet's attitude towards the unknown citizen? Would you prefer to be an unknown citizen or well-known citizen based on the ideas given in the poem in The Unknown Citizen? Give reasons for your answer. What is the purpose solution to human misery in the poem Dover Beach? What various things does the unknown citizen do to be considered a saint? What elements comprise a homage? Why does the poet refer to Sophocles and the agent C? Why does the speaker ask the landlady to see his palm and soul? Why does the poet use so many colors in the poem Telephone Conversation? The poem Telephone Conversation is about racial discrimination, but can it also be read in the context of other forms of discrimination? Is discrimination limited to race? Prose. We all have company manners and home manners. If you were to call on a strange family and listen through the keyhole, not that I would suggest for a moment, but that you're capable of doing such a very unladylike or ungentlemanlike thing, but still, if in your enthusiasm for studying languages, you could bring yourself to do it for just a few seconds, to hear listening to them and then walk into the room and hear how very differently they speak in your presence, the change would surprise you. Even when our home manners are as good as our company manners. And of course, they ought to be much better. They're always different. And the difference is greater in speech than in anything else. Do not strive to create an impression. Forget about yourself. Think only of the reader and write naturally. Avoiding self-consciousness. If you have something interesting to write about and can express it clearly, simply, with the human touch, it is sure to appeal to some classes of readers. But if you deliberately try to copy a style which is not your own, this will quickly become obvious to the reader. He will feel that you are not sincere and he will not go on reading what you've written. I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted, every hill and mountain shall be made low, the rough places will be made plains, and the crooked places will be made straight, and the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. If you keep your eyes open, you will find plenty of things to write about. Often, a little piece of conversation heard in the street can start you thinking along interesting new lines. Imagine that you're a stranger who is not familiar with the things that you see around you and start from there. This is our hope, this is the faith with which I return to the south. With this faith, we will be able to hew out of the mountain of despair a stone of hope. With this faith, we will be able to transform the jangling discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood. With this faith, we will be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, and to go to jail together. To stand up for freedom together, knowing that we will be free one day. As a public speaker, I have to take care that every word I say is heard distinctly at the far end of large halls containing thousands of people. But at home, when I have to consider only my wife sitting within 6 feet of me at breakfast, I take so little pains with my speech that every often, instead of giving me the expected answer, she says, "Don't mumble and don't turn your head away when you speak. I can't hear a word you are saying." To write well, you have to be able to write clearly and logically, and you cannot do this unless you can think clearly and logically too. If you cannot do this yet, you should train yourself to do it by taking particular problems and following them through point by point to a solution without leaving anything out and without avoiding any difficulties that you meet. It went on like that all through. It transpired from the whispers of the quick man that conjurer must have concealed up in his sleeve, in addition to the rings, hens, and fish, several packs of cards, a loaf of bread, a doll's cradle, a live guinea pig, a 50-cent piece, and a rocking chair. These are some questions. Regarding the chapter Spoken English and Broken English from your prose. These questions are from the prose section. All these were important questions. So इस वीडियो में हमने डिस्कस किए important questions, टेस्टिंग स्कीम एंड सिलेबस. आपको इस चैनल पर किसी और सब्जेक्ट जो आप चाहते हैं जिसके हम important questions एंड सिलेबस डिस्कस करें तो आप हमें कमेंट कर बता सकते हैं. Thank you so much for watching and God bless you and all the best for your exams.